how did you come up with the idea?
I thought safety comes from money.
I would be more listening to what others want from me rather than what I want for myself.
Welcome, everyone. I'm really excited to say this welcome. Welcome to Real Selftalk. So, it's Elena here and Viorica, and we are the founders of a mental health app called Selftalk, where we have built a platform for self-therapy skills. And it's time to tell you more of things behind the scenes and how our relationship with ourselves changed while building a mental health company. So, Viorica, my lovely co-founder, welcome.
Thank you for this initiative, though. We had a few initiatives to share the stories behind Selftalk, but we never published them. So this is a big thing for us, I guess. It's a good start and a mark of courage for us to put out there things that we never had the courage to do. That's good. I love that. So congrats for that.
At Selftalk, we invite top psychologists to design these self-therapy journeys. It's like a program. And for me, that's the chance to learn from the best how to address specific problems I have. From the time I started to do therapy, I found it quite expensive, to be sincere. I was like, oh my God, I have so many problems. I'll have to spend all my money on therapy. And I really aspired to go to the best therapists in London. And that costed a lot. So I really wished for a place where I can tap into their know-how, their knowledge, and learn from it and apply it on my own. Practically learn to be a therapist, but that's not my main profession. I don't want to, have a job in that, but I do want to know things for myself.
Yeah.
So my life quality improves.
Yeah, but right now we're doing that. But since we started, it wasn't like this.
No,
it was a drag and drop meditation builder. That's what we called it. I'm just like, oh my God.
I was always curious why you joined.
Oh,
okay. to create a drag and drop meditation builder.
Well, it wasn't. We called it after that a meditation builder.
What was called before? Like, how did I invited you to join?
I don't know. You just called me. You were in the car and you told me, oh, I have this idea. But we were talking before, so we didn't sync here. We synced when I was doing my first startup, and then I interviewed you as a user for that. We had similar experiences, as I remember, if I'm going back. And I loved talking to you then. It was just like a good fresh air. Like I could feel that we had a lot of things in common. And then my startup failed. And the saying that startup doesn't fail, the founders quit. So it was that case. It's not like it's failed, the founders quit. And then it passed some times, and then you called me, and I felt that there is something like an urge to.
You felt the calling.
No. But it synced with what I wanted. I mean, it aligned with something that I wanted for myself. That was to create something that creates an impact. Because in the first startup, I wasn't feeling that I was creating an impact, and it didn't give me anymore the drive to continue on that. And here it aligned with what I wanted for myself. So that's how I said yes. And then we was a meditation builder, drag and drop, something like that. But you can tell me, how did you come up with the idea? Because that was like a step before you called me.
Yeah, so it's a long story on like how I came up with the idea. And I think I should start by saying that at some point, as a student, I really did my best to reach this lifestyle that I dreamed of, because I had this idea that when I will reach, a nice job, I will be, doing things I want. I'll have this nice boyfriend. I will be happy. And I will really love myself. But till then I have to really work hard to get it, because I was not happy. So, at 23, I was in London. I got a job. I got the boyfriend. I got to meet Obama.
All the check.
I checked quite a few things on my to be happy list, and I was still feeling miserable. And I had some questions like, what the hell is wrong with me? What's wrong with the way I think? I really, really thought all these things are going to make me truly happy. And I was happy, but I was still feeling empty inside. And it's then when I turned to therapy. And in therapy, I started to explore some crazy topics like, why do I hate myself? Why don't I like myself? Like, why it's always this pressure to be better, to be different, and I discovered like so many things that brought me inner peace, and my life quality just got so much better. I started to understand why people make kids, because before I used to think it's a horrible thing to bring a kid into this world. It's so much suffering here. People are so bad. Everything is so like, I don't know, sad. And after doing therapy, I was like, actually, some people are happy. Some people do enjoy life. Some people have this ability to like appreciate what's good in here. And I changed so much as a result of therapy. My self-image changed so much. I started to see myself in a much better way. And I was like, it's totally worth it to invest your money in therapy. But it was a bit of money, you know.
Quite a lot.
So as a hobby during the pandemic, I decided to do this 1-year licensing. And while listening to my teacher, I was like, you know, these things that they are teaching here is not rocket science. Like,
I always admire the way you look at things that might be very complicated, and the first thing you're saying, oh, this is not hard, it's easy to do, and then you hit the bottom of it and it's like, oh, it's a bit complicated. Okay.
But yeah, I was listening there to my teacher and I saw there is a structure to therapy. They teach you most of the things there. So with practice, you get to have really good insights. And I thought it's truly worth it for people to have access to this knowledge for cheaper. Because most of the time we go in life after like, you know, jobs and like relationships and something outside. But actually the answer is most of the time inside. Yeah. And why not doing that in the first place? Like, why going through so much suffer? You can be guided to look inside and find the answer to some questions in a much easier way with not as much pain, and maybe life can be much better.
All right.
So this is why I started it. I was like quite impressed by the impact of therapy in my life. And I was like, people should have access to this. So we are already almost 3 years into this journey. And I'm curious, as a person that have been, like, you have done so much therapy, you've interacted with so many psychologists. How did your relationship with yourself changed in this time?
You know, the first thought that came to me when you said, oh, you interacted with so many psychologists and therapists and everything. Yeah, I still make mistakes and I still have a lot of things that I'm in my own process. But that was the first thought that came to me. But my relationship with myself changed a lot since we started. I would be more listening to what others want from me rather than what I want for myself. And then that was all unconscious. I wasn't doing it on purpose or something. It's like that was the way of me to validate myself, the way of me to show that I'm worth it or something. I guess the biggest thing that changed was that now I'm more into what I want. I'm listening to myself. It takes longer time for me to connect and understand what I really want. I need to sometimes disconnect from people, but it's good. I can hear myself now. I mean, I think that's my own experience. I mean, it's not like everyone is going through this. It might be people who are the same, going through the same process, or being outwards and then focusing inwards. So I agree with what you said, that everything is inside, but it took some time for me to realize that. So, and I think that's one of the biggest things that happened. What about you?
I think first I've developed a very healthy sense of self. Like my value is not based on my success as before. It's also a process, but intentionally now I can separate myself from my job, from my parents' expectations, even from my own expectations that are sometimes unrealistic. So I see myself worthy no matter what, but not instantly. Like sometimes I start to question it, and I need a bit of time to meditate and kind of reconnect with myself and tell myself like, hey, you are good even if you have made this mistake. Like even if I had this conflict, it tells nothing about my self-worth. I'm still a valuable person. I have the right to exist just because I am a human, not because I make money or like I have a business. And it was so hard for me to build this self-worth that's not depending on something external. Like I have the bags, or like I have the clothes, or like I have the jewelry, or, the salary, the business, whatever, the boyfriend. Because before it was linked a lot with what job I had, what boyfriend I had, what clothes I was wearing. And now, even if it's hard, I still have this type of thoughts that sometimes like, oh no, it should not do that. It's like blah, blah, blah. But I come back and I'm like, I don't agree with you. That's me talking to myself. So, and I think that's the biggest thing that changed. And I'm really, really happy about this transformation inside me, because now things, even if I tend to take things personally, if I meditate a bit on them, I can come back to this state where I feel worthy no matter what. And I think another, something else that changed, I started to listen to others for real.
You're opposite. You're opposite.
So I listened a lot to myself. I listened a lot to my negative self-talk, and sometimes even in the interactions with others, I did not make the difference between my reality and their reality. I tend to believe that my reality is the reality. And everyone...
And what about the other 7 billion people on Earth? Come on.
So I was like, I just did not thought that some people may think different. If I had a negative self-talk, I would think others think the same about me, or like they feel the same, I suppose. And discovering other human beings in their beauty without me putting any judgment on them, that's something that changed. And I discovered the beauty of connecting with others for real. Before doing this therapy, I thought safety comes from money. Like, in order for me to feel safe, I just need to have enough money. And I did my best to bring this safety in my life. And I had the very crazy learning that actually we feel safe when we build genuine relationships. Like this core basic need of safety for people comes a lot from building genuine relationships, because we are social animals and we depend so much on each other. So this learning was, I think, something crazy, because I still see people in my group, and like I still see people on social media. They do so many things just to provide for themselves the safety, but they do not invest in relationships as much. And I'm so, I'm a bit sad to see, because there is so much safety that comes from relationships, from genuine relationships. And there is so much, I would say the word healing, but, sometimes this word can be associated with like lots of other, but relationships in itself can be so healing.
I agree with you with that. The power comes when you truly connect with someone, like the strength, the inner strength that you can do whatever.
So all right. What I'm curious, what type of mindsets have supported you in this journey, or like what type of tools you've used to go through this journey of like connecting with yourself and improving the relationship you have with yourself?
I think one of the biggest that impacted my life was after we went through that year of course of ontology that we went through. And
it was a leadership course.
It was a leadership course, yeah. But it was more than that.
So in 2022, we went through a leadership course that took 1 year. And we got to write the book we've published and learn so many other things. But go on.
Thank you for the context. So in that 1 year program, one of the things was this realization that people trigger us on what we are inside, like things that we didn't heal, or like things that we didn't process. And when I say things, I'm saying the parts of ourselves. There is this theory, we wrote about it in our book, is Ken Wilber. He says about this as subpersonalities of ours, which means that as we live in life, we experience things and we get to experience some moments that we can't really integrate. That may be traumatic events or like big, small dad fighting with mom. I'm just giving an example. And as a kid, if you don't know how to process that, because we mostly we don't know how to process that.
Yeah, we do not have the critical thinking brain developed. We only have the emotional brain.
So Ken Wilber says that in these moments when we don't know how to process things, our consciousness splits, and he calls them subpersonalities. Some parts of us remain in those events in time, or like somehow with the needs of the person that was at the age when that moment happened. So for me, the realization was, or like one of the tools that I use is that people, when they trigger me, it's one of those subpersonalities that is triggered. Something in me that is not yet accepted, not yet processed. And it's not like, oh, I'm so zen, everything is good when somebody triggers or something. Not at all. But I still live the moment. I still feel triggered. But I do have that in my mind, and I'll always come back to it, that there is something in me that is triggered, and I always come back to what's in me. So that's one of the mindsets that I think either I want it or not, it's already ingrained in me and comes back to me all the time when I need it.
And that's so true. Like Viorica always is the person that asks me. So let's say a conflict happens and I come to her to complain, and I'm like, oh my God, this happened. And like, oh my God, how can it be so bad? And she takes a moment and she asks me, how did you contribute to this? What's your part in it? What was really triggered? What's really painful here? And like, sometimes I just want to like close the phone in her face. But I take a moment and I'm like, I know she's right. So I have to look inside and take responsibility over the things that happens in my life.
It's annoying in the moment when it's not
super
like
annoying,
it's super annoying. But well, I didn't find yet a better ways to say it. But you ask my mindset, which I apply in my life, so that's one. What's yours?
There is always something deeper than what I can see. I need some time to kind of process and understand what really triggered me. There's always, like, in the situations, like in any situation, instantly at that moment, we may be able to see some things, but if you take a look back, you may observe some deeper relationships on like what really triggered you, what really happened. And this mindset that I should not make instant judgments about the situation itself, because I should kind of like take a break, and I need to come back to reassessing the situation with my clear mind when I feel well fed, well slept. Like, when I'm in a good physical situation, like I take care of myself, in those moments, I may look at things differently. So this mindset to not be quick to judge any situation that's happening, it's something that really helped me, because even in negotiations, in discussions with our colleagues, even if something triggered me instantly, I was like, I should not be too worried about that. I should not react instantly, because there is something I don't know, or there is something that currently I can't see. And I think also I learned this from you, because you always had this like digging attitude to understand what's happening at a deeper level. And it got me really inspired to like stop myself and be curious about what's happening on other people's side. Like, okay, what are they going through that they reacted like that? So that means some sort of detachment from instant judgment, and taking it more chill, I think.
I like that.
To sum it up, how did therapy change the relationship you have with yourself? Like, what are your concluding thoughts?
I would say I would use a word that you usually use. I don't use it, but installed in me.
Looks like this word got installed in you.
It did. If it came up right now. But I think it helped me adopt or like get some skills of dealing with situations in my life. Therapy is not something that you go and touch or like the results of it. It's not like tangible in terms of material things, but it's like codes, but invisible codes that you get on, like skills that you put on yourself. A skill to manage, I don't know, resilience, for example, or a skill to manage a breakup. Therapy is one way to get to access those inner resources. Other can be love for someone. For someone can be, I don't know, sport. For someone can be just, I don't know, these retreats that are, I see therapy as a way to access your inner resources and
question here. What inner resources have you accessed?
For me, more. I think I have a lot of resources that I started to access because of digging. Because therapy for me is digging into why it happens, why things happen the way they do. Because I wasn't in my life just happy with the things happening and taking them as it is and that's it. No, I always go, and maybe for some people this is overthinking or something, categorize it and label it as that. But for me, digging is helping me to understand why things happen the way they do. So because of that, and I found therapy. Because of the ability to dig, I found therapy. And because of therapy, I accessed, I think for now, like at the moment that I'm accessing is self-love or self-care, or like caring because I really care. Something like that.
And because you have to care, and it's trendy to care.
No, but that's at the moment one of the skills that I'm accessing.
So you access your true self.
You become more authentic, or like you are able to express what you feel without the fear of being judged. So you peel all those layers and have the courage to be seen, vulnerable and powerful and weak and happy and
sad also.
And I don't know, in all the ways that you are. So that's the therapy is a gate to it, or like a door toward that opens towards it.
To be sincere, in all these years we've worked together, I've seen you becoming more and more authentic. I've got to discover like such an authentic part of you. And I just realized that. I was like, yeah, that's true. You became more authentic. Specifically, I remember the stage when we returned back to our home country, Moldova. And we started to integrate our Moldovan self. And we started to talk with a Moldovan accent. Before that, we used to hate talking with a Moldovan accent.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
Romanian language, because we speak Romanian here. And now, after this return home, like we started to integrate this Moldovan identity, and I found it so funny and so authentic.
Yeah, after this time, it was gradual, because you were in my life all this time, so you saw that. Before that, I wasn't able in Romanian society to speak like with our
with
dialect.
An accent, yeah.
Yes. But right now I don't care. It's not like I don't care whatever you think, but I accepted it, and I love it, and I accept it, and it's okay. What's yours?
Mine. I think what was possible for me with the help of self-therapy and therapy in general, or like this journey to go inside and explore what's there, is that I access my potential.
Tell me more, like potential. I'm kidding.
So I have this joke that I sometimes tell, is that I feel like I transformed from a Nokia phone to an iPhone. I discovered so many features I have. Like, I can be funny, I can be also very hardworking, I can be resilient. These are some new features. I can be trustworthy, I can negotiate, investment deals. I can run a team, like, for real, like, I did not know I can have a business. So I really transformed into like a person that can do things that I've never imagined I could do. I discovered this potential within me. And people, like, I have lots of females asking me right now, but how are you doing this startup? How have you raised funds? How are you running this team? Like how is that possible? And I'm like, I learned it. It's like the same that you go in a job in marketing and you learn your marketing skills. It's the same that you learn entrepreneurship skills.
Like the same that you learn self-therapy skills.
Yeah, and the same that you learn self-therapy skills. Like everything is learnable. You just need this inner belief that you can do it. And I want to kind of sum it up with this really interesting effect from psychology. Like it's called the Bannister Effect. Up until, I think, 1969 or something like that, people believed it's not possible to run a mile under 4 minutes. And there are some doctors that even wrote about it in some big publications in the US that, the human body can't take it, can't resist it, till someone did it. But the most interesting part is it was not that someone did it, but that in the years after, 5 more people did it. And after that, 20 more people did it. And after that, even teenagers could do it. And psychologists started to be interested in this effect. Human body did not change in the last 10 years, So psychologists were curious what happened. And they discovered that what changed was the mental framework that's possible. So life got a different flavor. Yeah. It's not an easier flavor. It's not this Zen. I'm not Zen all the time. Life feels hard. You have a business, you still want to keep your femininity. So it's a constant balancing act. But if I take a step back and look, I found it very interesting what's happening. I feel like I'm alive. I'm living my life. Because before that, I was very numb. I did not have many feelings. I was craving to feel feelings. Now I feel them so intense. I'm chill out. Take a break.
Balance, yeah.
But I do love this part and this transformation. That was it for the first episode. We were a bit nervous to share such an intimate part of our journey and these discoveries we went through. I truly believe that such discoveries are available for all. And in case you need some guidance, we do have self-therapy journeys available for you on our app. You can find more details at selftalk.space. And I'm quite excited for the second episode.
In the second episode, we are going to share more about the experiences that led us to these inner resources, which are apart from therapy. I'm actually very curious about that.
Yeah, see you in the second episode. Bye-bye.
Yay.